Tenerife, the fourth and penultimate island on my Gran Guanche bikepacking adventure. I've been to Tenerife many times and it feels very familiar to me, and after a terrible storm on Gran Canaria, I was hoping the weather here would be kinder. Pretty miserable. Still raining, absolutely soaked. Been climbing constantly in the rain, which has not been ideal, and it's not particularly warm either, which is a bit of a shame. However, I have just come across this amazing little cave right by the road. Gonna have a little break in here and chill for a little bit. So completely dry in here, which is lovely. I've been procrastinating far too long, but it is not showing signs of dying down. It's absolutely chucking it down. Good morning. So, bit of change of plans from yesterday. It was pretty horrendous rain, and instead of carrying on and camping like I was supposed to, I actually stopped 10 miles shorter of where I was planning on and booked in at a hostel, which I am very glad I did, because I was bloody cold and pretty tired. So I've had a pretty good night's sleep, had something to eat. I'm going to crack on today. It does mean though I've got to do an extra 10 miles either today or tomorrow, because I am camping tonight, fingers crossed, before catching the ferry tomorrow from Los Cristianos to La Palma. So here we go. This bit feels really familiar. It reminds me of the UK, Scotland a little bit. Just damp forests with no sun. But it's quite nice having that familiarity sometimes. It just puts your mind at ease. You know what you're doing. Stopped by a Spanish lady, and from what I can gather, using my very poor knowledge of Spanish, she said that it's pretty muddy and very deep water. She was miming up to her knees, so naturally I've chosen to just crack on anyway and have a look. But let's see if it's true. I might have misunderstood what that lady was saying. I thought she meant mud, but it could have been that she meant trees. Oh, that's a pain. There doesn't look like there's anywhere around, so I'm going to have to hop over with this bike, which is heavy. Seems to be, this island is just throwing everything at me. So we had the tree issue, managed to get over that, cycled up for a good hour and a bit now, and I've found that the route is closed. No signs about that anywhere, so now I've got to go back down, but I don't really know if there's another way over without basically having to go down to the coast. So I can see some life down there, but it just really messes up my route because I was supposed to be camping at the top then and then heading downhill to the ferry tomorrow. So if I can't get up to the top, I'm gonna have to go around or cut some bits out again, which is really frustrating. See what happens. So it's been raining all bloody day, and now I've decided to change route and come to the coast. It's actually cleared up. It's the first time I've seen the sun properly since being here. But it has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works now because I'm miles away from where I need to be, and I've got to catch the ferry tomorrow night at 5 p.m. So I'm going to have to catch a bus somewhere with the bike and hope that they'll take it on. Maybe a little bit of cycling, but I'm not going to be cycling the whole way because it is a pretty long one. So I cannot miss the ferry, otherwise I'm absolutely screwed. Fingers crossed, but it's just typical, isn't it? Been raining the whole 2 days pretty much, and now I've decided to pack it in. It's actually quite nice. Let's hope that the weather on La Palma is as good as the other few islands.
Thank you very much for watching my film. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. I've been doing the whole Gran Guanche bikepacking loop. I decided to do it in 2 separate trips because of family commitments. I didn't want to go and do it all in one go because there's 5 islands and there's a lot of riding and a lot of climbing. So the first time I went for the trip, I did Lanzarote, Fuerteventura and Gran Canaria, and this time I flew in from Manchester to Tenerife South to start the last 2 islands. The problem that arises if you fly to the south of the island is that the route actually starts way up in the north, because you should have caught a ferry from Gran Canaria, but because I didn't do that, I had to get a bus from the south after I'd found somewhere to store my bike box up to the north, which took a very long time. You can take bikes on the buses in Tenerife, on most of them anyway, which is really cool. You can slide it underneath in the storage area, and that is really freeing. It just allows you to go all over the island without having to worry about what you're going to do with your bike. I caught the bus to Santa Cruz, the capital of Tenerife. I've actually never been there before, and I've been to Tenerife at least 5 times now in various different capacities. Santa Cruz was actually a really nice place. I didn't realise how built up it was. There's like a university there and there's trams. It just doesn't feel like the rest of Tenerife at all. And from there I followed the coast up around sort of the top right hand corner of the island up to Anaga Forest. And the original plan was to go through the forest right to the top of the sort of mountain range near there and find somewhere to wild camp. But as you've seen, the weather was atrocious. From about the first couple of hours onwards, it just carried on raining and raining and raining, and it didn't stop. I got absolutely soaked. I was freezing. It was like 13 degrees, which is rubbish for Tenerife. So I didn't really enjoy that day. I had to change plans, stayed at a hostel, which was really nice. I've actually stayed in one of the sister hostels of this company. I roughly know the owner. He owns the entire Nest hostel group up in Tenerife. So I knew they were good hostels, and they're relatively cheap. There's always somewhere you can store your bike, so I went for that. I was on a bit of a schedule because I needed to get to the ferry at Los Cristianos, which was back in the south of Tenerife, where a lot of Brits go and make their holidays. I didn't want to hemorrhage any more time, so every day that I didn't go where I needed to go because of bad weather meant that I'd have to do more the following day. I've got to be honest, I didn't enjoy this section of the trip. I love Tenerife and I always go there if I can in the winter for a cheap cycling holiday, because 9 times out of 10 it's a welcome relief from the miserable weather here in the UK. But I was really unlucky. I had equal, if not colder temperatures than what we had back in the UK, and worse rain. And as a result, I just didn't enjoy it. I felt like I should have saved my money and stayed at home. But I was determined to get to the finish line. And as a result, I had to do even more. But because of the issues with the trees and then the closed route, which really threw a spanner into the works, I decided to head back down to the coast. I stayed in another nest hostel. It was a Puerto nest, so down at Puerto De La Cruz, an area that I've been to a few times. And I had to basically pack it in and get the bus from there back to the south to tackle the next bit of the trip. Next month is the final island in the Gran Guanche route. I'm heading to La Palma, which is known as the jewel of the Canary Islands. It's hardly ever visited compared to Tenerife and Lanzarote, by Brits anyway, and it is absolutely beautiful. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.